Side hustles really are a truly powerful tool to have. As you guys will know, I started an eBay store about 90 days ago, and in that period I've seen my sales go from 0 to 100 plus sales total, with 70 of those sales being in the past month. And with me being a student, I'm in a really interesting position in the sense that I don't really have to worry about money that much, as I do have quite a lot of savings from previous businesses, but I'm also in a position where I see the perspective of a lot of my friends around me who now over summertime have gone into part-time or even full-time employment to give them something to do and to raise cash over summer. And I want to talk about the real power of a side hustle and how great it can be. So hopefully this video can stand as inspiration for you guys as to what can happen if you truly put time into your side hustle and make things really work out. By sharing my experiences, hopefully you can see where you could be going in the next couple of years. So like I just said, for me it's currently summer. I don't have much to do outside of trying new businesses and having fun. It's a really great time to be alive, and again, it's not something which most people have the privilege to do. Whilst I am aware that I am in a very privileged position, most people do have a couple of spare hours per day which they can dedicate to a business. But me doing these businesses, whether it be eBay or some of my other businesses which I want to save for other videos, I've been able to generate money without having to go to work. Admittedly, there is some work involved, especially with eBay. If anything, that's one of the most intense side hustles that I've ever even tried. But regardless, I make money on my terms, and it does come with its own challenges in the sense that I have to be my own boss, I have to manage my own numbers, dedicate myself an amount of time, but it's really brilliant because I decide when I want to work and what I want to work in terms of hours. Now admittedly, I am rewarded or penalised based on that, but think about it realistically. If I worked in a shop, let's say that's a typical young person / student job, if I did that, I've got to show up at this time and leave at this time. Those are my hours. Where I am right now, I can get out of bed at, let's say, 12 p.m. if I really wanted to. I don't do that, but I could do. I could get out of bed at 12, spend 3 or 4 hours on eBay listing stuff, and that's my day done. Alternatively, what I actually personally like to do is, I like to do it about between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. So those are the hours that I like to list. It's the time where I feel most productive, and it's just how I like to do things. And that's something that I can do. Imagine if I had to do that in a job. 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. wouldn't be that bad, but that is not the exclusivity of a job, because then I would have to travel, and traveling at 1 a.m. or even 10 p.m. can cause a lot of extra hassle to the process. It's just something that you don't have to do as a side hustle. You also determine how hard you work. If I want to work lightly, list 5 items a day, I can do. But if I want to go really intense and list 100 items a day, I can do that as well. The difference will probably be how much money I make. Now, unlike in a job where you can work 100% or 10% and you'll still get your hourly rate or your salary, setting up your own business is not like that at all. When you run your own business, you are truly rewarded for the work that you put in. Let's just go back to the whole eBay model and say that I listed 100 items this week. I'm going to see a lot more success than if I listed 10 items this week. That's just how a business works. That is not how working for a business usually works. So you might get a little bit of a bonus sometimes, but it's not something that you see to the same extent. If I put in 100% effort and I see 100% extra growth, I benefit the entire difference. Not my company, well, technically my company, but I am the business. I get all of the profit. It's just brilliant to work like that. You have no bosses and you have no set targets. The only targets and bosses are yourself. It does mean that you have to be a little bit more accountable, but regardless, it is more fun. It gives you that sense of freedom and it allows you to work on what you truly want to and grow your business based on what you see as best. When you work in a job, however, you're working based on what your manager thinks is best for somebody else's business. You don't really see the benefit of that. And going back to the previous point, I can't stress enough how beneficial it is to have so much free time. It's not necessarily about the amount of time I have, but the freedom to choose when I want to be free. Let's say, like right now, it's a brilliant summer's day, it's fantastic, and it is Friday. Whilst I'm a student anyway, which gives me a lot of free time, I still don't have to do a part-time job. So I can go out today, I can spend some time with some friends this evening, I won't be tired because I've not been to work all day. It's just a lot more fun. And whilst we're on the topic of businesses and growing a business, I want to talk about actually learning about business. That's a skill that you don't get in most businesses, because most businesses bring you into their companies focused on what they have been previously doing. You just have to fill a hole in a business's space. When running a business, you run it however you want. And this does kind of tie into the previous couple points that I just made, but it's more true than you will ever know. You learn and you gain actual valuable experience. Let's say that I list 100 things that don't sell on eBay, for example. If it doesn't sell, I'm the person who needs to learn. It is ultimately on me. I pay the cost. And that, whilst it might seem brutal at first, is brilliant. It gives you an experience that you wouldn't get working for most companies. They would either tell you to improve in some way and you've got to then do it for yourself, which is somewhat like what you do, but you don't get any of the benefits from that. Or they would just sack you from the job and you'd be fired. You don't really get the freedom that you get with running your own business. Now, admittedly, it comes with its own stresses. If you watched my previous video where I talked about how selling so many things on eBay has brought me into a new position of questioning the way that I do things, you will know that it can be a lot of stress. But overall, the amount of freedom it gives you and the amount of freedom of expression it gives you is just so much more beneficial, in my opinion, than jobs. I hear a lot of my friends who are doing summer jobs or even full-time jobs now complaining about how boring it is. This has never been boring. It keeps me on my toes, it keeps me busy. Yes, there are bad days. There are days where I get returns or difficult customers or people trying to scam me. But really the whole process is a lot more fun. The only problem that I see, the only downside, is the fact that it does all fall down on you, and on top of that, the fact that you have to account all the figures for yourself. Apart from that, I can't see any downsides to running a business like this at all. So, if you want to free yourself from your job, why not start up a side hustle or business? You know that you can do it and you know it's what you deserve, so why not give it a go? I hope that this video and this channel stands as motivation to you as it does to me documenting my own journey. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.